Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christy, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. I am so honored to get to introduce you to my next guest. So her name is Valerie Smith, and she is one of the most delightful humans you will ever meet. She's kind, she's funny, and she really is a problem solver, which is interesting because the name of her company is The Solution. She's the CEO of a company that helps associations plan their stuff. I didn't know that things like this existed, but think of them as a management company who supports you to have the best conference ever, plans your events, makes sure that your governing body is doing everything they're supposed to do, herds the cats, if you will, and makes sure that everybody involved in the process is actually successful in the process. It's a pretty cool job, but she didn't start there. And I think what I gathered from Valerie is that it's okay to be a little messy in your path as long as you land where you really want to land. And something that I have observed her do is really get the people around her to be able to do the same thing. So she brings out the best in people. As leaders, we need to, number one, know our people, and number two, bring out the best in them. Well, you can't do that unless you know who you're dealing with. You need to know what people that work with you are good at. You need to know what makes them tick. You need to know a little bit about their family, their friends, their, interests. All of those things make you better able to lead them in the direction they need to go. And that's something that Valerie does very, very well. So I'm excited for you to hear our conversation. I think you'll find her humor to be charming and really, really authentic. The other thing that I appreciate that Valerie reminded me of is that we have to show up as our authentic self. So if you've known me for more than a minute and a half, you know that I call myself a bold flavor. I didn't coin that phrase. My sweet husband did. He said I'm a bold flavor, and I'm not sure he always means that as a compliment, but that's okay. He's a pretty bold flavor too. And what I mean when I say I'm a bold flavor is I have learned to leverage my extra. I have learned to say, you know what, this is who I am and I'm okay with it. And I need to be that person in every space because it is genuinely exhausting to try to be something that you're not. So something that I try to adhere to, it's a question that I ask every podcast every podcast guest, I guess, that I have is how do you know you're showing up as your authentic self? Because quite honestly, if we're not showing up as our authentic self, then we really need to assess what it is that we're really doing and why we're not. It is so exhausting to be anything but who you are. And Valerie does a great job of reminding us to be who we are. And I just want to remind you to do exactly that today. You've got to leverage your extra. Your extra is maybe your personality, maybe it's how you approach things, maybe it's your willingness to help others. But every one of us has an extra. And if we learn to leverage it, we get to show up as our best authentic self. If we're not leveraging our extra, what we tend to do is settle for mediocrity. And I'm not okay with mediocre. I am much more interested in extraordinary. And I want people to leave my presence a little better than they were when they came. I certainly want to do no harm. And so, in order to do that, I have to leverage my extra, my personality, my boldness, my over the topness, all of those things. I need to leverage that. So, what's your extra? What do you need to leverage? Maybe it's at work, maybe it's at home, maybe it's both. But what is it about you that's extra special? And how can you leverage that to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be? So I appreciate you listening to Productive Joy. Today, the nuggets that I want you to take with you is that you are made to be exactly who you are. So don't try to be somebody else. Instead, leverage who it is that you were made to be and go with that. Because you know what? It's extra special, extraordinary, and you are exactly who you need to be. So this is Productive Joy, and I hope that you will take the time to follow it or like it or do whatever it is you need to do so that you will get notified every time a new episode drops. And my goal for you today and always is that you figure out a way to help fun meet action.